Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, broadcasting on Channels Television, live from Lagos. Residents of Ikpakodo in the Ikorodu area of Lagos State were left shell-shocked today after an armed gang of 6 raided 2 banks in the area. Eyewitnesses say the gang, comprising 5 men and a lady, operated freely for over 2 hours with sustained gunfire before escaping with an unspecified amount of money through a river. The Lagos State Commissioner of Police, who visited the scene afterwards, promised to curb the recent upsurge in robbery attacks.
At 9 o'clock a.m., when I came to the bank, I came to use the ATM, when suddenly like two gunmen, they attacked the police station first. Then after attacking the police station, the same 2 gunmen came into the bank, into the compound of the bank. And the next thing I could remember was that they shot the entrance of the ATM. When they shot the entrance of the ATM, immediately they proceeded to the entrance of the banking hall, which they shot a very, as in the vibration of the gunshot was quite different, like a dynamite. So when they got in, they said everybody should lie down. We were in the ATM. We were just observing everything that was going on. One was standing at the entrance of as they had inside the compound. That one was shooting continuously. When the armed robbery attack was going on, in fact, it was consistently. It was very, very terrible, I must confess. And these guys are young men. They are not old men. They are young men and they are professionals.
We got this information this morning due to gunshots, not just gunshots, several gunshots. And the moment we started hearing that, what we did was to ask all the boats on our jetty to leave the jetty because we don't know what the problems are. And the gunshot lasted for about 1 hour 45 minutes in the bank. And gradually we start making sure that we don't create obstruction, because if this is going to be the last point for them to go out, so we need not to create a barrier, so they can pass through and go, but they will not use our boats. But luckily, for about 1 hour 45 minutes later, they got in, shooting at the people chasing them. It's just little people that are chasing them, boys coming after them, not in their multitude, not just 10, not 20, not in their hundreds. They're chasing them, and we inside had to give way for them to come. And when they come, of course, they don't know origin. They don't know the jetty. They are not familiar. So, because it's the last point, so they keep. One of them was telling the other guy that come. Tell him, making they bring the boat. Come, come, bring the boats. Come, just come for water. Come for water. Come for water. Then somebody, when they enter into the place, they don't know how to get to the jetty itself. So they need to find their way in, and I think they successfully got to where the jetty is. And what they did was to start shooting at the vehicle they brought. And they set that on ablaze, and they went off.
I got to know about this incident this morning, and on receipt of that, I deploy all our operatives. To come down to the scene. We're here. We are still at the preliminary stage. We've assessed the banking hall, and we have assessed their getaway place, boat here. So, but we're working seriously on it, and we're going to address it. Now we're going to take a very holistic look into all this. The operation of all these jetties, the vulnerability of our waterways, and we're going to address it in a very comprehensive manner.
And following recent attacks and killings in southern Kaduna, Governor Nasir El-Rufai set up a committee to probe the killings in the area. But it seems the residents are not satisfied with the moves made so far. The people of Katsak village in Jama'ah local government area are appealing to the federal and state government to expedite action in tackling the security issue in the area. On June the 18th, the people of Katsak were attacked by unknown gunmen, killing 13 people and injuring several others. And now let's return to our lead story of the day. Senators loyal to the Senate President refused to accept the candidates nominated by the party, insisting that the APC caucus should determine the senators to fill the 4 vacant positions. Our correspondent, Linda Akigbe, reports.
Job seekers in their numbers at the lobby of the National Assembly, seeking appointments as legislative aides and secretarial staff. While they wait anxiously at the lobby, inside the Red Chamber, lawmakers continue to battle it out for seats of the remaining principal officers of the Senate. The party on Tuesday sent a letter to the Senate President with the names of senators to fill these positions. They are Senator Ahmed Lawan for Majority Leader, Senator George Akume for Deputy Majority Leader, as well as Senator Shola Adeyeye, Chief Whip, and Senator Abu Ibrahim, Deputy Chief Whip. However, the senators loyal to the Senate President have refused to accept the party's candidates, insisting that the APC caucus should produce the senators to fill the 4 vacant positions. But a federal lawmaker, Senator Gbenga Ashafa, raised a point of order, trying to compel the Senate President to read the letter showing the APC's choice of candidates to fill the leadership positions.
Yesterday, most of the media houses carried a letter that was written by the chairman of our great party. By virtue of the privilege of being one of the senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and coming from our party, I believe, and strongly so, that that letter should have been read to the hearing of all senators here present. Perhaps that will be the solution to the leadership also in the Senate.
But he failed in this attempt.
With your permission, I'm going to read, sir. There shall be a majority leader of the Senate. The majority leader shall be a senator nominated from, not by. The point of order raised by my bosom friend and brother Ashafa, even helps further to explain the reason the term as to why the president shall not proceed to read that letter that was allegedly sent to this chamber by the All Progressive Congress.
Going by what has been stated, I think I will just note what Senator Ashafa has said, and I think we'll leave the matter as that. I would, and in that case, rule that order point out of order.
Another APC lawmaker, this time, raised an alarm that a Senate rule on the voting procedure for the principal officers was amended without the knowledge of senators.
On the 9th of June 2011, especially as it regards the election of the Deputy Senate President, were null and void because they were not in consonance with the provisions of the standing orders of this Senate, Your Excellency.
The rule he was referring to ended with the Senate on the 6th day of June.
This is the second time Senator Marfa is raising an alarm that the Senate rules have been amended without the consent of lawmakers. His accusation is indicative of the growing rift in the Senate, which could be traced back to the emergence of a Senate and Deputy Senate President. Several meetings have been going on behind the scenes to resolve the impasse in the Senate. Channels Television learned that elections were held at the APC caucus level to elect senators to occupy the remaining 4 leadership positions. But this would in no doubt draw the wrath of the APC, which has made its position clear on the senators to fill the 4 remaining leadership positions. Linda Kibe, Channels Television News.
I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by Mr. Gt. Ogunye, a legal practitioner. Mr. Ogunye, you're welcome to the news at 10.
Thanks for inviting me. It's my pleasure.
Now, looking at this ongoing crisis in the National Assembly and the issue of selecting principal officers, is the selection actually a caucus issue or a party issue?
It is a party issue. And those who are just insisting on they being allowed to do as they wish being mischievous. It's a party issue. I'm familiar with the standing orders of the Senate and the House rules, the Green Book and the Red Book. And the provisions of these rules, the relevant provisions, state that the principal officers of the majority party in the House shall be nominated from the party, not the members of the party in the House. And, you know, the reason for this is obvious. The chief whip, for example, as an agent of the party in the House, will be the one amongst whose other functions that he performs to supervise and organize division and debates of the members of his party on the floor of the House or the Senate to ensure that they vote in a particular way or the other, you know, in consistency with the party lines and interest and agenda. And so all this brouhaha, all this talk about let's dissolve into caucuses of our zones and elect, they're just wasting precious legislative time.
Well, what about Nigerians? I mean, Nigerians are impatient about moving the country forward, but it does seem that because of party wrangling, some lawmakers may actually be losing sight of the bigger picture. So, while they argue, is governance not taking a back seat?
I think it's taking a back seat because, you see, until and unless they resolve this, it will be difficult, for example, for the executive branch, the president, to send a list of his ministerial nominees to the House. Who's going to take it? Who's going to lead the debate? For example, the majority leader in the House has as his function under Rule 28 of the Red Book, leading business of the House and managing the schedules of the Senate. So he's the one to lead the debate. So unless you agree, unless all these positions are filled, the business of governance, the business of the legislature will take the back seat. And it's a shame. And we look at all this, and Nigerians look at all this and say, they wonder, is this why these persons are elected? I know that for certain, that's not why they are elected. And the earlier they started doing the business of why they were elected, the better for everybody.
So where do we go from here? I mean, what do you think the solution is going to be?
The solution ought to have been something else right from day one. The very idea of not having a coordinated fashion of electing principal officers of the National Assembly, moving from the party that many people heedlessly celebrated as the liberation of the National Assembly, was the problem that unfolded this crisis. A majority party takes charge of its affairs and moves to the House to say that this is how we're going to do it. And for those who are celebrating what took place in the National Assembly on the 9th of June as liberation of the National Assembly, the National Assembly does not need liberation. Rather, it is the Nigerian people that needs to be liberated from the tyranny of this obvious misbehavior on the part of legislators. And I think that what they need to do is what they are trying to do now, the majority party, the president of the country, understanding that he's also a party man, and the governors of the APC came together and said, this is the way we want to go. Right. And I think that that's how they should rein in all this and then start implementing their agenda.
Thank you very much for joining us on the News at 10.
My pleasure.
Yeah. I've been speaking with Mr. Gt. Ogunye, a legal practitioner. Now, still ahead on the News at 10, Central Bank of Nigeria withdraws foreign exchange allocation for importers, promises to impose sanctions on defaulters. That's going to be on Business News. Do join us again.